Okay, this is a little short tutorial on animation. As it turns out, this thing has a full-blown animator in it. Um, It's a little tricky to figure out. It's a little cumbersome because, oh, what's working now? I keep wanting to scroll down with my mouse wheel, but it wasn't working. But you do have to open all these things up to actually do anything with it. But, you know, this is how you establish a keyframe, and I just erased all the keyframes by clicking that outside of this one. But that's what took me a while. So if you want to turn on keyframe animation for one of these, you got to click this little thing. But see, the thing is, I'm still not sure which one's which. you know, uh, I mean, you can see which layer's which, but I mean, I don't know which of these objects it corresponds to because they all look the same. Um, but if you take your wiper, I guess, I could have, damn it, I guess I could have wiped it along, but, that's how you tell. So, but at any rate, what's cool about this, is you can actually change um, okay, if I zoom over, push my scroll wheel over here, that's when it zooms in and on the window, but if I push it here, it scrolls, so that's how that works. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what this position does. Because I tried clicking it before and it says, hey, that won't do anything because it says a layer position. And it recommended that I use the mask, um, vector mask enable and so forth. But you can actually load real videos in this thing too, because I'm watching this video on the internet about this, and but it's got some interesting capabilities. But you can do basic animation with it. Again, I doubt that it's as sophisticated as Anime Studio, but at least you can do some basic animations with this, and that could be useful. I'm not sure, but it could be. But I know you can change things like its style and opacity. So, like, I can go set an opacity keyframe starting here on our square there, and it's at 100%, but I can move it to here, set another key, oops, shit. Okay, I'll start a keyframe there, but then you go change the opacity. Of this layer down, like right there, for example, and then I can drag the slider over here and then increase it back up to full, so when I swipe it, it starts to fade out and then it starts to fade back in. I guess this is the one that corresponds to the ellipse. So I'm going to go here and modify its, put a style keyframe in, and then we can go put a new style over here while the styles are around. That. Let's just say rid of some of these existing styles. Move the stroke and set it there, so you can see that the style starts like that and then starts to change. And it goes totally out of whack, but then I could because I don't know if the thing is, I don't know that I can really actually animate, without changing the layers, because these layers that you have here can actually be repositioned so that, for example, prior to that, it's vanished, so you can control the duration of the layer itself in your animation. Because there's another way of doing this too, which in some ways might be more intuitive, but this is pretty intuitive too. I mean, the other way is a little cumbersome. It involves, you go down here and you can, change it to keyframes, but that's the way this guy with a basketball did it. But this is actually a little more intuitive, compared to for the programs that I've been using. But I'm going to go move this sucker here too to set another keyframe, so it doesn't just sit there and do that. But I don't know, if I can apply like a transform to it, and I'd like to see if we can do that. Yeah, I don't see a keyframe coming around for that, so yeah, I mean it didn't, you can't apparently, you can't, see if this does anything. Now that created a vector mask. I'm not quite sure what that means. It's interesting. Why does it keep popping back and forth, I wonder? At any rate, I'm not clear on whether you can actually change the shape, because I still don't know how useful this will be if you can't change the shape of it. But anyway, if I figure it out, I'll edit this video. Anyway, yeah, but I don't think you can. Shit. I don't think you can. Change the sizes or anything, so that really limits how useful this would be. But go down to export, render video, man, I hate the fact this fucking thing doesn't have a goddamn history section in it. Okay, that's a folder, but you know, we can save it as QuickTime or MP4 or an image sequence or whatnot. Let's see. Frame rate 30, keyframe rate 24, data rate 90. Okay. I don't have any sound in it, but I think it'll deal with sound. I think you can put sound in it. Document size. And we change the various standard settings if I wanted to. Currently selected frames 28 to 292. Okay, and I should be able to hit render. Let's see. And here we are. Playing media player or whatever. So anyway, you know, it's kind of a nice little tool, but you know, it looks like CS6 it does have the ability to modify, you know, like squish or whatever, but you know, CS5 didn't seem to have that. You know, and by the way, I could have, you know, started a new document and used one of the presets, you know, the film and video preset. So if I wanted to actually start with it being a video, you know, I could have done so. Again, I know you can add videos into this thing too, but I'm still not sure about the value of doing so, since that's what Corel Video Studio's for. I mean, some of what the people were doing was like adding fancy frames around and stuff, but again, you can kind of do that in Corel as well. So and of course these keyframes are repositionable. You can see how fast it's doing that. Well, I could stretch this out, so it slows it down. And also, you know, there seems to be, I don't know if this is useful or not, but you know, you got video layers up here, and you can go, you know, like new video layer from file or from layer. So again, I don't know, I've never opened it. I think it's here. Before, I don't know what this is. Doesn't tell me how long the video is or anything, so I don't. Okay. Alright, so that's interesting. It pastes that video layer in as a background object. I assume I can change the transforming a video layer requires converting it to a smart object layer. Okay. Shifts, it maintains the aspect ratio. Okay, now press enter, accept the transform. Oh, that's one of my Robo 3D videos. I don't know what video that was. Now, like I said, you can see some objects are over the video layer, some are behind it, so, you know, that's just a matter of changing your layer positioning. Let's see what happens when I play it, because it's got audio information in it. You know, rubbing all the streaks off. Now the bed's actually hot, and it's probably not the best. Okay, now I got a damp just paper towel, and I'm just you know, rubbing all the streaks off. Now the bit. So anyway, that was kind of cool. Okay, I just found out. You know, I'm watching this guy animate a logo, which is kind of interesting. But apparently, if these things are smart objects, you can actually transform them. So let's see. You know, convert to smart objects. So if you convert, you know, every object you have here is just an individual layer. Well, I ought to hold off on that. Let me go ahead and save this. I don't want to save it there. Photoshop. Okay. I don't know if that's going to save the source video or not in there, but anyway, you know, I just wanted to make sure that I did that because I'm kind of curious to actually render this thing. And you can go here and, you know, like change your frame rates and so forth. What keyframe interpolation, linear and hold. Timeline comment. Convert to frame animation. Onion skin. Onion skin's good if you're drawing animation. It's you know, it actually, you know, if you actually draw something, you can actually, you know, see a shadow of the previous things you drew. You know, that's if you're doing frame by frame more than anything. But it's not this. Yeah, anyway, I can't remember where that is, but let me go ahead and render this. I think it's still got the same settings from last time. Video 2. See how long it takes to render. That ought to be interesting. It's actually fast, a lot faster than Corel is. Anyway, I want to do this before we move on to the next topic. And here you can see the video that we made. There's no audio in it. I don't know why. I mean, it's probably some things I got to tweak or whatever, but supposedly it will support audio. Anyway, it's kind of interesting. Set this aside. Okay. As I say, supposedly if you convert these to smart objects, you can transform them. It said because that embeds information in it. I just don't know how much this is going to screw up my timelines if I do this. You know, because I did all those keyframes and everything, and I don't know, you know. I'll just leave that one alone. As you can see here, open this up. Yeah, it obliterated my keyframes, I believe. So that's something I should have done to begin with, I suppose. So I'll enable a keyframe here. Well, I don't know, you know, those, curiously enough, have still all maintained their information, so I don't know what this is. But, yeah, I mean, everything still seems to have its, you know, I didn't mean to do that. That's for the video. Why is it picking up the fucking background? Hmm. Keeps picking up the fucking background for some reason. I can't. Oh, it's picking up the whole layer. I see. So, I mean, I can change it, but I gotta change the whole layer. Apparently. No, I didn't. I sure as hell didn't do it what I was supposed to. Yeah, I think that guy is just doing that in CS6. It doesn't say on a stupid video, but it was made in 2012, late 2012, so probably a CS6. So yeah, I mean, as far as I know, you can't transform it. So anyway.